Morning, gang. It's Tuesday, the 9th of April, 2019. Did anyone notice that? I think I had the wrong time up for the show start on the little show starts at thing at the bottom there. Sorry about that. There's always so much to do before you start a show. All sorts of things to remember. Typing in the correct title, going on there, typing in that, doing that. So much to remember, dear, in my small little brain on yet another dreary day. I'm supposed to be going to Legoland later. My nephew and his wife and children, they're not going to get here till about 1:30. So we can fit a show in. I'm so happy. Well, I didn't get up till 9. Oh, I was ever so tired. Last night's karaoke was excellent. And it was really nice to see Claire coming along on a Monday. It's a lot less manic on a Monday, isn't it? So thank you, Claire, for coming down to that. I had a little bit of a sneezing thing going on yesterday. I keep getting a little tickle right up the top of you. You can't get a finger in that far. You know, just can't. Not even with the big nose that I've got, you know. I mean, I can't pick my nose. Isn't that awful, people picking their nose? Why do they do that? It's horrible. No, I'll give it a good blast on here. But coming back from the swimming pool yesterday, I started sneezing and it wouldn't stop. And it's somewhere up there. I kept blowing my nose like this. So, and it happened last night as well at work a few times. And it's happened this morning, and my voice has changed a bit. So I think I've got a minor cold, boys and girls. Please send your Red Cross parcels immediately. I am terribly sick. I got a little bit of a cold. It's all right. We carry on. We're not millennials. We're not millennials, dear. We carry on. Oh, hello. Is that my place of work? Oh, yes. I blew my nose once 3 weeks ago, so I'm going to have the day off, I'm afraid. I'm not feeling very well. Yeah, I'm millennial. Oh, yeah. If you could send some more cotton wool to place around myself so that I'm not offended by anything. Thank you. Idiots. Dear me, idiots. That's what would happen, isn't it? They'd ring in, say, I've got a splinter in my finger. I can't work today. You know, the splinter might miraculously come out of my finger and enter the beef burger. I mean, for God's sake, they keep moaning, those millennials, that they can't afford to buy houses. That's because they keep taking time off work, dear. Left, right and centre, you have to go to work. Even if you're being dragged, if you've just died, doesn't matter. You must be dragged into work in a coffin. And a coffin opened up and start your work. It's outrageous, it really is. So there we are, another dreary day out there. I thought it was going to be really nice today. As I say, looking forward to my Legoland. I found my Legoland card, which was just downstairs on the table. I must have got it out at some other point. Do you find yourself forget things if you're a little bit older now? There's a lovely man who comes into the karaoke. He doesn't usually come on a Fridays anymore because he says it's too busy, which is quite understandable. But he comes every Monday. His name's Martin. And he's a lovely chap. He's such a nice man. He wears glasses. I don't know how old he is, about 60-something or other. And he generally wears this black leather coat. And he came up, he said, all right, Chris. And he shook my hand, as he always does. And I said, all right. He said, I don't know what to sing tonight. He said, what do you think? I said, do Welcome Home, Peters and Lee. You know that one? Welcome home, welcome, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Come on in and close the door. That one. So I wrote that down for him. And I'm looking at him, and I've got my pen poised, and I've written down, his name had gone from my head. I said, oh, Christ. Do you know your name's gone from my head? He said, you know who I am? I said, I do. And for some reason, his name wouldn't come into my head. Isn't that strange? Does that happen to you at all? It does happen occasionally. And I've known this man for about 4 or 5 years now. Met him at the city of Quebec. Lovely place that was. And I just stood there and I looked at his face. Come on, where's his name? And it wouldn't come into my head. Isn't that funny? Don't know why that happens. Strange. It's very strange and mysterious. So that was the karaoke last night. If you're looking for the karaoke video on YouTube this morning, I'm afraid it's not there. I got a little message from YouTube, blocked worldwide. They decide to do that. Nothing I can do about it, I'm afraid. So that's not there. It'll be a copyright issue. There'll be a song in there somewhere. that the copyright police didn't like or whatever. So that's what happens. You get blocked worldwide. Sometimes you get blocked in only certain countries. Sometimes it's quite rare, actually. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. So that's blocks worldwide. So you won't be able to see that from last night. And there's nothing I can do about it. Out of my hands, I'm afraid. Okay, only an hour and a half to get to work last night. No traffic. Isn't it amazing? When the children are on holiday, where are all the cars? Now, this is what I don't get. When I drive to work during school time, it's not like I'm surrounded by cars full of school children. The route I take doesn't really come into that. So I don't know where all the cars disappear to at school time. Oh, I suppose they might be going on holiday, mightn't they? I was surprised that this is now, they have broken up for the Easter holidays. Well, it's 2 weeks away, dear. We've still got Palm Sunday to get through yet. All glory, praise and honour to the Redeemer King. And ride on in majesty. We got all that to do yet. We got Palm Sunday, waving our palms at church. Then we've got Easter Sunday. It's over 2 weeks away. I mean, how much holiday do these people want? I'm sure when I was at school, for Easter, we had 2 days off. That was it. And one of those, you had to go to church. You know, a bank holiday and Sunday and something like that, perhaps. I don't know. Shocking how long these holidays go on for. It really is. Okay, let's have a look there. I haven't changed my scan date yet. I've got a little scan to do on my stomach, which is probably going to be all right. If the scan machine can actually see through the fat that's gathered around my waist, I should be okay. But I got a letter from the hospital saying that with the date on there, and it happens to be the date that I'm up in Lincolnshire on a holiday in Mablethorpe with my nephew and his family. So I must change that. I must do that today because I've sat on that letter for 2 days. They don't like if you leave it. You know, it's NHS, you know, someone else will want that appointment. The programme today is coming to you again over the 4G network. Okay, we're testing out this. As you well know, we've been testing out this for a few days now. This is my new 4G router. Okay, plug it into the wall. It's just a box, no wires connected. Actually, there is one wire connected to it, the broadcast computer, but there's then no wires going back to a telephone exchange. Works all over the 4G because I'm probably going to change my Virgin Media for that because they've just got stupidly expensive, £53 in comparison to this thing, which is £22. So that's how we're coming to you this morning still. Seems to be working perfectly right. There was I must say, I put the telly on last night and I was watching on the Netflix The Disappearance of Madeline McCann, which is actually quite good. It's quite good, quite well done. So I've been watching that, and for about a second or two, it did a buffer. But about 2 seconds in the whole programme, and then it was fine. So that's something that hasn't happened before. So that's why I'm testing it for several weeks before I decide to make the decision about doing that. This morning, I've already changed my. Oh, that's what I meant to say. I've got Find My Friends. Those of you got Find My Friends on Apple. My mate Ronnie got a message from him last night and says, "I can't see your picture on Find My Friends." So I sent him a picture. I said, "Can you see me as a blue dot or something like that?" And he sent me like a little photo thing of the screen. And it's like a shape of a person, not me, but no photo. So anyone know what that could be? Because usually when you look at that Find My Friends thing, anyone you've got switched on there, you get little miniature photos of the person. For example, I can probably see him at the moment. Let's have a little look. I won't show you the map because that'll identify where he is, and you might want to go around and sleep with him or something. And if it's him and not me, I'll be very upset about that. Let's have a look. Find My Friends. Yes, I can see Adam the plumber, and I can see my mate. Oh, I can't see my sister. A lot of people have disappeared from there for some reason. Can't see my sister. Can't see my nephew. Can't see my nephew's wife. Oh, that's strange. I've got people. Maybe I need to delete people and re-add them again or something. I don't know. But there, you can see little pictures of people. But where I am, it's just a little dot. A blue dot, which is a bit odd, really. So that's what I've been doing this morning, gang. And yesterday. Right, let's say hello to you. Shania is in the house. Good morning, Shania. On holiday for 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks anymore, my love. Only 13 days. You've already had 1 day. You've already had one day, Shania. And what things to improve your life did you do on your day off? That's my question for you. We mustn't waste time, dear. We're here a very short period of time and dead a very long time. We must make full use of our faculties and life. What interesting thing did you do yesterday, Shania, to improve your life? Do let me know. Morning to Mark Jones. It was his birthday yesterday, 24 I think it was. Pete Branch is there in Brazil. Good morning, Pete. Michael Pullman in Australia, as is Katie Ann Patterson. Gustav, he was in the karaoke last night. Morning, Gustav. John Pinkerton. Good morning, John. Queensland, I think you are, aren't you? Also Australia. Mike Reese-Ponto in Portsmouth. Oh, there he is. Hey, Queensland, John says. Ray Reynolds is in the house. Do you like the countdown? I think John likes the countdown, do you? There's a different one for when I'm up the caravan. I don't know if you've seen the other one, John. That's how you tell where I am. If it's the one down here, it starts with houses and buses and trains and things like that. If it's up in Lincolnshire, it's all fields and swans and castles. That's great. You love it, don't you? I sit here, I listen and watch all that. I don't disappear and do something. I love to watch it. I like to watch my own work. How sad is that? Morning to Joanna over on YouTube. Morning, Joanna. Craig McKenzie in the house. Good morning, Craig. Weird City Citizen is there. All right. It's very sunny, John says, over in oh, you lucky thing. Got the sunshine over there this morning. Adrian Richardson, hello to you. I think some of you are talking to each other. Where are we now? Thank you, Weird City Citizen, but we don't pick faults on YouTube. Thank you very much, Weird. And there's plenty of people who watch the show just to pick faults. Believe me, they do. Morning, Thomas. Hello to Thomas. JP is in the house. John Parrish. I didn't know you had your own YouTube channel. This was sent to me yesterday by my brother-in-law, Martin. JP has his own YouTube channel. You kept that very quiet, JP. Why have you never told us about that? I never knew. There was your wife. I think you were doing something I can't remember what I was watching now. Your wife was chatting away there, and then it followed you into a garage. Weren't you working on a car or something? I can't remember. I didn't have time to watch the whole thing, but I'm very impressed here. JP's got his own YouTube channel. Look at that. You can put a link up here if you want to, John. That's okay. No problem. John, lucky it's a cold, not man flu. Now, I never have man. If I have flu, then I'm really ill. I think I've had flu about 2 or 3 times in my life. Not a pleasant experience having the flu. This is just a minor cold, which I will not refer to. I'm not one of those people who seeks the old, do you want anything brought round? Are you okay? Oh, you must take it easy, go to bed. No, we must carry on, dear, like mothers. I'm a baby boomer. We carry on, dear, not millennial. Oh, not well. Oh, not well. A millennial. Morning to Ian Days. Good morning, Ian. Let's just scroll down a little bit. Lots there. Roy Brownlow, good morning, who says it's a lovely sunny day here. Dentist for me later, and then sign a few autographs, my fans. You go to that dentist. Let us know how you get on there, Roy. That's another thing I've got to do, make an appointment with the dentist. I think it's been 7 months. My teeth are practically coming out. They're so loose. It's great to see the children, my great nieces and nephews. Great nephew George, he's got front teeth missing now, where his milk teeth have fallen off. It's really, really good time to spit at people when you've lost a tooth at the front, isn't it? Awful. Let's have a look. Ian says you probably only had 2 days off school because of the Blitz. No, I'm not that old, Ian. God, a baby boomer, dear. That's after the war. Morning to Adam the plumber. Weird City says, poor Madeline, I hope they find her. Well, the thing is with the Madeline McCann thing, and it's all incredibly sad and complicated what's gone on there. What does she look like now? You know, fortunately, I say fortunately, but she's got that thing in her eye where her pupil kind of dips down. It's like it drops down, doesn't it? So you could identify her like that, but you've got to get right up close to see that. You know, she's what would she be now? 17? 18? Shall I tell you what I think has happened? I think there's a good chance that she was is abducted the correct word? Because I don't think she's been killed. If you're abducted, does that mean you're killed? No, it just means you're taken away, doesn't it? So I think she was abducted and has been brought up by someone else. And I don't think she may not remember what happened before. So as far as she's concerned, whoever's looking after her is her mum and dad or her mum or whatever. That's what I think. So therefore, she won't know that she was abducted. Would you remember that? I wonder if you would remember that. Because there's times, I think, in your life where something terrible happens. And as time goes on, you kind of forget about it. I wonder if that would be the case. You know, she's been brought up by someone else. Therefore, she would consider that person her mother. And that's what I think. I think she was abducted by someone who wanted a child. I do. That's honestly what I think. But there's so many different avenues on that programme, the disappearance of Madeline. 1 minute you think the parents are guilty, then you don't think they're guilty. 1 minute you think the Portugal police, you know, have had a bad press, and then you think to yourself and then you think, oh no, they didn't do a good job. Really difficult to tell. And then there's that other bloke who's a very rich bloke who's kind of bankrolling the search for the girl, isn't there? I'm up to episode 6 at the moment. And that's available on the Netflix. Okay. Morning to Julian Clark. Will Peters in the house. Morning. Martin Edwards. There you are. Claire. There we are. There's Claire. She was at the karaoke last night. She don't usually come on a Monday. Great karaoke last night. Couldn't get the YouTube playback. Yeah, afraid it's been blocked. Copyright police have blocked this week's karaoke, unfortunately. So there's nothing I can do about that. Once that's happened, that's it. There's a bit of it on Facebook. Your first song would be on the Facebook one, but even that cuts off after an hour. It's getting more and more difficult, actually, to bring you the streaming karaoke, because this is what happens. You know, it just makes me laugh how you or me or any of our karaoke singers singing karaoke are considered copyright things. It's just... You know, there doesn't seem to be a way around it. There really doesn't. Sorry about that, Claire. Okay, it's been taken up. Censors, that's what they are. Censors, dear. We've been censored. Weird City says, I've no clue about the Madeline McCann thing. I suspected the parents, though. It's just very odd. It's difficult. And last night... Can I be a little bit graphic here? Not too graphic. But on the episode I watched last night when I came in from work, they were saying, and I didn't know this, a little boy was supposedly abducted a couple of years before that and disappeared without trace. And I think they said that someone had admitted to cutting him up and putting him in a fridge. And the police or someone went and got a fridge that was identical to the one that this little boy had put in, and with a model, you know, like a model of a person, like a model. They cut that up, the legs and arms, and tried to put it in the fridge, and they found it wouldn't fit in there. So they say, well, that can't have happened. Because that's one thing they said about Madeline McCann, that she was... Just, you can't even bear thinking about it, can you? Cut up and put in a fridge. You know, but the fridge wouldn't have held a person. So, I don't know. Horrible. I do hope they find her. I think it's probably worse if you was to find... If someone disappeared like that and you had no result. You know, if they did found that she'd been... Something terrible had happened to her, then you would go to the parents, look, we found this. And that's it, it's closed. Yeah? Or hopefully, you know, years, whenever, that we found her, here she is. Then it's closed. They have no closure. Now, I think that makes it even worse. You need some sort of closure because they can't move on. They cannot move on with their lives. It's like that the little boy with the glasses in the 1960s with that Ian Brady murder. You remember? And for years and years, this little boy's mother, she knew he'd been murdered, but this little boy's mother, I can't think of the name, but one of you know his name. For years and years, the little boy's mother went to see Ian Brady in the prison, begging him, begging him, please tell me where my little boy is buried. And Ian Brady would have known that. And she kept that going for years and years and eventually died, never knowing where her son was. So she was never, ever able to move on from that. Isn't that terrible? What would it have been for him to say, yeah, he's buried up? He was already in prison. He was never going to get out. It couldn't have got any worse for him. But he never told her. He never told her. How awful that you're never able to close that point on your life. Just dreadful, dreadful. So, yeah, of course, we all hope that she would be... little Madeline McCann would be found at some point. What's happened? None of us know, really. We can all sit here and guess, and point to, he said that and he said that. But we don't really know, do we? We don't really know. Claire saw the Facebook bit. Sadly, it didn't include... Oh, no, Barry, it finished before my Barry Manilow thing. Roy on the cymbals last night as well. That's right, yeah. Hello to Diane Jeb. Good morning. Mike Reese says Mary Whitehouse has returned to centre. Do you remember Mary Whitehouse? Some of these people are hilarious. Who's the other old bag? I think conservative lady. Who's there now? Short lady. She's been on some of the reality shows. I think she's brilliant. She's very anti-gay and all this, isn't she? What's her name? Widdicombe. Anne Widdicombe. I think she's hilarious, some of these people. Mary Whitehouse, Anne Widdicombe, all that lot. They sit there, don't they, and pontificate. That's wonderful. Wonderful. All right. Some text coming in as well from yesterday's show, actually. Simon Keane. Good morning, Simon. Writes, I met Joey Essex and he was on about Twitter. And I said we didn't have that in the 80s. When I was a kid, in fact, a 1980s retweet was the Birdie song on loop. You know that one, don't you? The Birdie song. Wonderful, dear. He says, Elizabeth Gillis, she's the girl who plays Fallon in the reboot of Dynasty, who liked one of my comments the other day. Yes! Liked one of my comments. And Simon says, Elizabeth Gillis has been in over 20 different TV programmes. I'm sorry, Mr. Chop Chop, but I can't associate myself with a woman who can't hold down the job. You want to see the list of places I've worked at? Although some of them are... I tend to stay at places for a number of years. Some DJs, karaoke people, they might do 6 months here, then they move on. I tend to hold down jobs for... I like to stay in one place when I'm enjoying it and I like it. The only place I work at the moment is Central Station, and I don't want to do anything else now, really. I've turned down 2 jobs actually this week. Both for Thursday nights. No, 3. Both. There was a karaoke night, a quiz night, and what was the other one? I think the other one was a karaoke night. And funnily enough, they were all for Thursday nights. Oh, and a Sunday one. 4. I've turned down 4 jobs in the last couple of weeks now. I'm quite happy doing 3 nights a week now, I am, yeah. And they're all at Central Station. I only work at Central Station Monday, Friday karaoke, and Saturday a little bit of hosting, come DJing. And that's enough for me. And yet, a couple of years ago, I couldn't possibly have in my head the fact that I'd have a night off. I would now and again take a night off, and I'd be sitting at home not knowing what to do with myself. Funnily now, and eventually you find something else. Those people that work in a certain scene, like, for example, I've worked on the gay scene for years and years and years. And then I started working back on the straight. I started on the straight scene, then moved to the gay scene. And then I started doing both of them at the same time. And I think you become in part of a bubble, right? And you are frightened that something's going to happen and you won't be able to, and then what would you do? Well, let me tell you, I took myself out of that bubble several years ago now, And there is life outside it. You've just got to find it. You've just got to find what bit of life that you want to be involved with. Mine is Central Station. That's it. I don't want to be involved in anything else. None of this Soho malarkey or anything like that. Don't want it. Never did, actually. I never did want that. But you've got to look outside that bubble that you're in for something else. You really have. And there is absolutely, like Ray Reynolds will tell you this as well, there is absolutely life outside of that scene. There really is. You just need to find it. You need to be brave and right. I've had enough of this. You've got to come out of it. And then for a while, you'll be sort of, I don't know what to do with myself. Oh, this was a big mistake. And then eventually you find something. What did I find? I found that I bought myself a caravan to go up north and see my family a lot. You know, and I do more of these now as well. These little shows. I don't think I did one every day when I was doing the thing there. So that's it. Simon also says, on the subject of Steph McGovern, she's one of the lovely ladies on BBC Breakfast Time. Blonde girl, broad. She's tall and broad. Beautiful lady. Steph McGovern is from Middlesbrough, Teesside. That's not Geordie. That's like saying someone from Bracknell is a Cockney. She once said history does not repeat itself. She once said history does not repeat itself, which is incorrect. Exhibit A, history, +1 channel every day. So thank you very much for that. Morning to more. Oh, is that Maureen? That might be for you from yesterday, Maureen. My sister's trying to FaceTime me here, honestly. Funny time to be FaceTiming me while I'm in a bit of a show. Morning to Alan Russell joining us today. Roy, I'm thinking Chris moans like a millennial or a conservative remoaner. He's such a Willy Wincher. I never moan, Roy. Never moan at all. Never ever moan at all. And John says, let's all pray for those who are missing someone. And for those in turn who are lost. Yes, because if you lose someone, you yourself then become lost. That's absolutely true, that is. That's absolutely true. Good. Righty-ho, I've got some lovely news stories for you this morning. Here's my favourite one, which appears in this morning's Daily Mirror. Daily Mirror. Now, you're going to love this one, all right? If you've been dumped, have you ever been dumped and invited? Well, maybe you weren't invited, because this one wasn't. Love this story. A bride was left stunned after the groom's former lover crashed her wedding wearing an elaborate bridal gown and veil. Footage shows the woman grab her ex-partner's arm and drop to her knees, shouting, "It was my fault! It was my fault!" You just imagine that, girls and boys. You're at your own wedding. You're standing there with your new husband or bride, just about to get married, and your ex-girlfriend appears in a full wedding suit gown with flowers, begging you to come back to her. I wish I'd have been there with a camera. Just imagine what a fantastic video that would have made. More interesting than this crap that I spout off every morning anyway. Footage shows the woman grab her ex-partner's arm and drop to her knees, shouting, "It was my fault." The dramatic intervention and apology came just after the groom was about to kiss his new wife on stage. But the moment was ruined as the screaming woman continued to tug at her ex-boyfriend's arm, prompting the real bride to storm off the stage. I love it. The scene allegedly happened at a ceremony in China and was first shared online by an entertainment blogger. It has since been widely... I wonder if it was real or set up. I don't know. It has since been widely shared by Chinese media. According to Star Video, affiliated to Hunan Legal Channel, the groom split from his ex-girlfriend because they had different personalities. Well, that's like me and you, isn't it? We got different personalities. We have. We're completely different, dear. The man appeared to be caught in surprise when the woman showed up uninvited. At one point during the proceedings, the MC... Do you know how they've spelled MC? E-M-C-E-E. Oh, for God's sake. Does anyone in the newspapers, do they not employ editors anymore to check spellings or anything? MC is M.C. Master of Ceremonies. They've spelt that EMCEE. Oh, dear. At one point during the proceedings, the MC tried to salvage the wedding by quoting a famous proverb. If you ask life what love is, it is to devote your life to someone else. As I have. I've devoted my life to you, as you well know. Who else comes into your living room or office or sits next to you on a train or in a car and talks to you every morning like I do? Does anyone else do that? No. Devoted my life to you. Feeling the love. Feel the love. Let me send some love to you today. Love. Love is in the air. Everywhere I look around. How many verses do you want me to sing, Katie? Love is in the air. Or Joanna. Every sight and every sound. At the end of the footage, the groom can be seen... Oh, it is videoed. It is videoed, I beg your pardon. At the end of the footage, the groom can be seen going after his wife, leaving her love rival crying alone on the stage. Sod that. Is anyone worth running after like that? I have done it before. Yes, I have run after someone before. Yes, I have. Years and years ago. That person will not be named on this programme today. Thank you very much. Paul and Lou are there. Oh, right. I knew it was too much to ask you to be early every morning. God. Joanna says you can stop now. Are you sure, Joanna? There's 3 verses, dear. Or even better than that, I could sing you the full version of the hymn Immaculate Mary. 13 verses of that, dear. 13 wonderful verses. Immaculate Mary, our hearts are on fire. That title so wondrous fills all our desire. Ave, Ave, Ave Maria, Ave, Ave, Ave Maria. Do you want the second verse? I can do the second... I'll wait for you to reply to that. I can do the second verse if you want me to. Oh, dear. Let's just scroll back a little bit there. Let's have a look. Roy, I lost my ex. I lost my ex. Became found at last. But become found at last. I don't know what that means. Roy, how can it be your new husband before you've got married? I don't know, just reading it out of the paper. Very bad writing there in the Daily Mirror this morning. Sharon, oh, there's my sister. Evie and Harry are excited to be going to Legoland. Have they left yet? Because something's gone wrong with my Find My Friends thing on the FaceTime here, unfortunately. And I can't see Stacey, or I don't think I can even see you, sister. If you're there, I don't know if you're still there at the moment. Let me have a look. See who I can see. Oh yes, I can see you. No, I can't see you either now. I can't see Ronnie. Something's gone wrong in my Find My Friends. I don't know. Can that be deleted? That app? Let's see. No, you can't delete that. Very strange. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. What happens there? Share my location. No, something's gone wrong with my Find My Friends. I'm not quite sure there. What on earth has happened to that? Where are we? I love the mute button, says Paul and Lou. Yeah. How about flying? Do you like flying? I never went on Concord. I have been on the Concord thing. There's an airport. There's an airplane museum, like a transport. They've got cars, motorbikes, and aircraft in there. Broadlands? It might be Broadlands Museum or something like that. It's not too far from there. And there they have a prototype Concorde and you can go on it. And it's incredibly narrow. I don't think I'd like that. I mean, you're really quite, tight in there. And then you can see in the captain's place, there's all these dials and meters and little metal pipes going everywhere with carrying all sorts of fluids and things like that. I don't think I would like to have gone on Concord. But they're trying to sort out a new hypersonic plane in America. And again, in the Daily Mirror this morning, it says the idea of catching a flight. Did any of you go on Concord, incidentally? Anyone go on Concord? The idea of catching a flight from London to New York that takes less than an hour might sound too good to be true, but it could soon become a reality. You imagine that? So it would be cheaper for you to fly to New York than it would be for me to travel from Bracknell to King's Cross on a Friday night. How mad is that? Incidentally, if you're worried about the ULEZ zone, the new pollution thing that they've got going in London, my car is not affected. Thank you very much. I am not having to pay the £15 a day that the pollution people want. Mr. Sadiq Khan. People are blaming Sadiq Khan about that. It's not. It was Boris Johnson who first came up with that idea. I just want to point that out. I'm not a Labour person at all, but it's fair's fair. Sadiq Khan was not the one who decided to bring in the ultra-low emission zone in London. It was actually Boris Johnson. I found that out last night listening to the radio. It's that Sadiq Khan. No, it's not. No, it's not. Boris Johnson, that was. Anyway, back to this story. Reaction engines have successfully tested a key element of its air-breathing rocket engine that could enable hypersonic jet travel in the near future. Would you go on one of these planes? The British firm tested the pre-cooler heat exchanger, subjecting it to an airflow temperatures of a whopping 420 degrees centigrade, similar conditions to a Mach 3 flight. And then it goes into telling you a little bit of technical stuff about it. And what it is, they think they found a way to stop the engines melting when they get to that extreme heat that they would get to if they were flying along like that. I mean, I don't know what a normal jet engine, what the temperature of that would be. Presumably that gets to very high temperatures as well. But these get to extremely high temperatures, and they literally have to find a way of keeping them cool to stop them melting. You imagine just flying along in one of these hypersonic planes. You look out the window and the engine's just dripping metal. Oh, I hope it don't land on my head while I'm walking down to the swimming pool today. Shocking. So there we are. Would you go on one of those? Who went on a Concord? Anyone go on a Concord? I don't think I would have liked it. No. And you can just imagine the luxury on there. I bet they were served champagne and posh foods and all that sort of thing. There wouldn't have been an economy, would there? My mate, Keith, he went on the very last one. I think it was an incredible shame that they stopped flying Concord, to be honest. It used to roar over this house twice a day. And I could set my watch by it, 11 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock at night. Twice a day. And it was so loud. But it was a pleasure to see this feat of British and French engineering flying over the house. Amazing. They should never have stopped doing that. I know they had the accident, but I mean, planes disappear, planes crash, they don't stop them all flying. Was it something left on a tarmac or something? It picked up a bit of rubber that got into the engine and the plane exploded. God. Awful way to go. Awful way to go. What else have we got here? We'll do one more story this morning, boys and girls, and then I must get ready for my little trip to Legoland. I'm sure they'll be leaving soon. I might try and get a swim in as well before I go. Here we go. Couples sleeping together. Now, I've never been really able to sleep with someone comfortably. Never. Never. Do you? Do you sleep all right with your other half? Or sometimes, smells in the bed and all that. Oh, I can't be doing with it, dear. Look at this. If you find a good night's sleep always seems to escape you, there's no shortage of underlying reasons or possible solutions. Ditching caffeine after 3 o'clock, giving up on that nightcap, having a break from screen time. These are all changes which could improve the quality of our sleep. And I'll be honest, I'm just as guilty with this screen time thing. You're still looking. And last night, and eventually, you think, oh, I can't put this phone down. I was a bit like that last night in bed. just one more look at the Facebook, and you're scrolling and and then an hour passes while you're in bed, and then you close your eyes and you can't really nod off. It's got to be something to do with that screen. We really should switch off the phones, I don't know, a couple of hours before bedtime. But you don't, do you? You just get just one more quick look just in case I've missed something. There's nothing to miss. What do you think's going to happen in a minute? You know. It says, if you've tried all of these and more and still wake up groggy, bloodshot and cranky, then the answer may be lying next to you. Yes, you and your partner may be completely sleep incompatible. This has become such a huge problem. According to Psychology Today, 30% of Americans would rather sleep separately from their other halves. It's becoming what's known as a sleep divorce. And far from being a sign of relationship in trouble, it's not a relationship in trouble. Experts are saying it could be a good thing. Perhaps one of you is a night owl, while the other is an early bird. If one partner often has disrupted sleep, then this can impact on the other. Other reasons people sleep apart including different schedules. Snoring. Oh my God, my dad used to snore. Do you snore? Really loud. My dad used to snore incredibly loudly. The whole house would shake. I don't know how my mother ever was able to get to sleep. I really don't. Now, the messages have stopped coming through there. Messages have stopped coming through, I think. Okay, I can switch those over to something else, which I'll take those just before we've finished. So there we are. I don't think there's anything. I know a lot of, certainly older people, I think sometimes they start sleeping in separate beds. In the same room, but nevertheless in separate beds. I think there's a lot to be said for that. Just because you sleep in separate beds don't mean you're having any sorts of marital problems or anything like that. And the other thing, does a marriage have to involve sex? Does it have to involve sex? Does some people get married? Certainly in their older years, I wonder. And there's no funny business going on. It's like a marriage of minds, I suppose. Do you need to be, doing it to have a happy marriage? I don't think you do. I think when you're young, it's a massive part of it. As you get older, I don't think that matters at all, does it? I was watching an old Michael Barrymore, that program we did with the television screens with the arrows on them. I can't think what it is called now. Outright. Oh, you know the one. It was a quiz show. And he had all these, and they were old-fashioned tellies, all these old-fashioned tellies, and questions would come up on the telly, and if you got it right, an arrow would appear, and you move on to the next one. And there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was, I think, 6 contestants in 3 couples. And on there was a very, very elderly man who had heart problems, and an elderly woman who had met on some sort of newspaper dating thing, Love Hearts or something like that, in the local newspaper. And they'd been talking to each other, then they met and got married. And you're looking at them both, and you're thinking, well, they can't be sort of doing it. Do you know what I mean? They can't be doing it. Let me just see if I can reset this chat thing. That's gone completely wrong. I can't even close that now. Why won't that close? Hang on a minute. Let me try something. Now, you might lose us if I do this, but I'm going to do a Control-Alternate-Delete on the broadcast computer, so keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll still be here. Restream chat. There it is. Oh, it's opened in 3 places. That's probably why. Right. Shut that down. Let's try and bring that back up. Come on, I've completely lost the chat messages there. Let's try that. Hurrah, waiting for messages. Oh, right. Okay, so we've lost them all now. Oh, no. Never mind. I can still get the Facebook ones. YouTubers. Anyone still on YouTube? Just type in a quick message. Maybe I'll pick it up from there as we go. Oh, no, it says nothing is connected now. I've got no messages at all. No supported channels enabled. Please add a supported chat. No, that's gone a little bit wrong, that has. Sorry, gang, I've lost your messages there. Anyway, I'll go back over onto the Facebook page because I often keep that open. Let's have a look. Where are we now? Oh, gosh. I'm going to have to start at the bottom and I won't go back too far. Good morning to Glenda, who just texts in there. Morning, Chris. I found something this weekend I believe you would love. Maybe another gift. Really? Are you sending me something else, Glenda? You are naughty, spending all your money on me, dear. But remember, Glenda, I am worth it, my love. I'm worth it. All right? Adam, the show you're thinking about, Michael Barrymore's Strike It Lucky. That's the one, Adam. Strike It Lucky. Thank you very much. Mike Reese says, as you get older, marriage is more companionship. I'm sure it is, Mike. I'm sure it is. It doesn't so matter about the physical. If it does matter about the physical state of things and what you're doing as well. Good morning to Robbie Stedman there. Morning, Robbie. Adam snores, but he's got a spray for his nose. Do you have to put much of that? What's that spray stuff for your nose? I've never heard of that. A spray for your nose. Oh, I didn't know there's such thing existed there. Katie doesn't snore. Are you sure, Katie? Are you sure you don't snore? My sister snores. I've heard her drop off in front of the television. Mike lets us know that there's a new comedy series tonight at 10 o'clock on BBC Two Colour, which I shall be recording. Don't forget the driver, about a coach driver from Bognor who takes pensioners on day trips. That's got to be funny, isn't it? Because I don't think there's any scripted comedy at all on ITV anymore. What a travesty that is. Great scripted comedies are disappearing, so that's good news that we've got one. And the writer of Benidorm, I'm sure he's got something starting soon as well. Darren Litton, I'm sure he's got a new thing starting soon. Martin Edwards, out of my price range, the Concord, but would love to have gone on one. So thank you very much. Okay, Adam sent me a private message. I'll pick that up a bit later, Adam. Okay. Alrighty, let's do today's birthdays, boys and girls. Happy birthday on this Tuesday, the 9th of April 2019 to Ghufran. Ghufran Khan is 21 years old today. Happy birthday to you, sir. Martin Diver today is 52 years old. Good morning, Martin. And Paul Martin, I haven't seen you for a while, Paul. I hope you're doing well. We used to come into the into Central Station now and again. I haven't seen you for a while there, so I hope you're doing well. Paul Martin is a year behind me at 55 years old. So happy birthday to you all, gang. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. All right. Sorry we've lost all the messages a little bit there this morning, boys and girls. I don't know what went wrong there. Sometimes things go wrong. It's just one of those things. We don't worry about it too much. Have a lovely Tuesday. What is it, 11, 12, 1? Oh, I might be a bit late to try and go to get a swim in before. Oh, well, if I go up there in the car, I might do. I like to have a little swim every day. I don't know if my niece is going to, if my nephew and his family will have lunch on the way down. But they're going to get here a little bit late, really. So I don't know. I'll have to ring and find out. Otherwise, I'll be starving. There'll be this little thin thing walking around Legoland, and it'll be me. How awful! Have a lovely day, boys and girls. I'll think about you when I'm having a nice all-you-can-eat pizza buffet or ice cream later on. I'm so much looking forward to that, more than the rides, to be honest. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching and listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye now.